The Obeah Woman by Anastasia the Phoenix, Armourer Chapter 19. Isis carried the backpack that was full of sandwiches, then all filled their canteens at the waterfall. After they were rested, they started up the mountain. It was not an easy climb. There were still a lot of tall trees and the ground was very slippery. Dora found herself falling many times. After 3 hours, they reached a plateau where the trees thinned out and there was a lot of grass growing. They could see smoke in the distance, and the scanners zeroed in. There are 6 tsukunyas up ahead. 2 females and 4 males. Can we go around them? No. The mountain has sharp cliffs on both sides. Our path lies straight toward them. I say we take them. There are 6 of them and 10 of us, said Tom. Leo could not believe his ears. Look, it's not how many of them there are, it's the noise they will make. Their shrieks can be heard for miles. So wise up, we will have to sneak past them. I might be able to form a shield that can hide us, but we will have to stick very closely together, and I will have to be in the middle, said Paul. Okay. Let's go. They got in view of the camp. They could see 3 huts and the women cooking food in a large pot on the ground. They got into pairs with Paul in the middle. Then he conjured up a shield of invisibility around them. They moved very slowly behind the trees. They could see out, but no one could see into the shield. As they walked by, one of the males came walking toward them. They stopped moving. He came closer, sniffing the air. Dora held her breath and Isis held onto Dora's hand. The male stood for a minute looking around, but he could see nothing. He turned and walked back to the group. Dora and her party moved on. The shield dissolved just as they were clear of the encampment. They moved quickly away. The plateau ended and they began to climb again. It was now after 5 p.m. and Dora knew that shadow creepers awake at sundown. They must make it to the temple before then. Climbing the rest of the way to the entrance of the temple was so difficult it was ridiculous. They were on their hands and knees as they climbed. Then after about an hour, they could see the entrance. It was guarded by 2 large demons. The trick now was to get past them. They got as close as they could, hiding behind the large rocks. What now? The sun is going down. I think I can freeze them in time, said Aquila. For how long? About 3 minutes. Okay. Everyone, when they are frozen, we have to move fast. Very, very fast. Aquila moved closer to the entrance and hid behind a small rock. At the right time, he stood up and raised his staff, pointing it in their direction and said the words to freeze them. It worked. They were frozen in time. Now! Shouted Leo. They all took off as fast as they could. Isis fell, and Marcus and Lawrence picked her up by the arms and carried her past the demons into the cave. They had made it past as the sun went down. The cave was enormous and very dark, so they all lit their staffs and held them up. Suddenly, there were screeching sounds coming from above. They looked up to see the entire ceiling covered with vampire bats. They became agitated, and began to stir. One hit Frederick in the face. "Son of a bitch!" he exclaimed. Then he threw up a large flame of fire, sending them all flying out of the cave. Dora and her party walked deep into the cave until they came to 2 great doors. They tried to open the doors, but they were locked. "Well, what now, my angel?" "Aquila, what's on the other side of this door?" Dora asked. "Nothing that I can see." "Isis, can you open a portal through these doors?" "I can try." Isis stood before the doors, raised her staff and began to twirl it around and around in her hands. Suddenly, a portal appeared, small at first, but as she twirled, it became larger and larger. Soon it was large enough for everyone to go through. On the other side, there was a long pathway with large rocks on both sides. As they walked along, something jumped out from behind the rocks and landed in front of them. It was a monkey man. His face and body was jet black and his hair and beard was white. He wore some kind of fur loincloth, and he had a long tail. In his hand he was holding a knife, as he ran towards the group. Marcus took out his gun with a silencer and shot him. Soon there were many more on the rocks, jumping up and down chattering loudly. Dora threw doom cocktails at them, and blew them off of the rocks. Marcus shot as many of the as he could. Tom hit them with electric bolts, and Frederick threw fire at them. The monkey men soon gave up and ran off down the path. Dora and her party continued their steady pace down the long dark corridor. They came to a large chamber with 3 doors. One in the east, one in the north, and the other in the west. Which way, Paul? North, I think. Are you just guessing, Paul? Yes, I'm just guessing. Aquila? I can't sense anything in here. Your guess is as good as mine. What do you say, my angel? Pick a door. Well, we have been heading north all this time. I think we should continue. North it is. They headed for the northern door, but when they got close to it, 3 banshees jumped up out of the ground and attacked them. The banshees were hissing, spitting and slashing with their claws. Ben grabbed one and threw it up against the door. Dora shot one with a black arrow, and Rio hit the other one over the head with his staff. They then walked through the doors to the other side,